Okay, so this is actually the third take at the beginning of the video, but the next segment you're going to watch after this was recorded before this. Oh my God. So I realized there was a couple things I meant to say that I didn't. And so I shall briefly recount the changes I've made to the Dream Eaters playlist. This begins with yesterday receiving in the evening a notification from YouTube that the topic channel for the Dream Eaters had uploaded a new track. And so I checked it out. And there's a preview of that song in the next segment. I will also show you how to find their topic channel. So the original playlist that I had put together was just some favorites of mine, some great songwriting, kind of a mood. But there were a lot more that I wanted to put on, and a lot of other tracks that I didn't put on because I didn't know the right way to get them into the playlist. Because just listening through the playlist, why would you just put all sequential albums? And what are you going to do? You put the new stuff first and the old stuff last. Nothing ever gets listened to. And my intention was to shuffle the playlist anyway. So taking the original like 40 or so songs that I had on the list. After that, I basically, which I will explain in the next video as well, the next segment, went through and kind of added everything else in from all of the tracks. And I'll explain in the next one how it is that I came to being able to access all of the tracks. The things that I didn't get a chance to say in the previous version of this intro were that listening to this band is like a masterclass in songwriting. You may not realize it because some of the stuff is a little bit out there compared to what normal people are used to, but it is evocative imagery in the lyrics. The musicality of the tracks is amazing. Everything is just a perfect fit. The second thing that I wanted to say is on account of that, I consider the Dream Eaters at this point to effectively be yacht rock. And I mean this in a good way, not as a pejorative or anything like that. There's no dismissiveness to this and to call it that. For the same reason that the bands that are associated with that term that came from the 70s and 80s, some of the best, purest singer-songwriter material and just rock music soul. That is a lot of what I'm hearing in this music. It is obviously influenced by those type of songwriters, even if they'll never admit it, or they're influenced by songwriters who are influenced by those songwriters. So that's about all I have for the intro. I'm going to cut to the next part of the video. And I guess I will re-record the outro after this as well. Okay, so what you got is, if you search for the Dream Eaters, you'll find this. But if you search for the Dream Eaters topic, you will also find this. And any artist that has music that they put onto a distribution system that also works through like YouTube Music will have one of these channels auto-generated. Now, the Dream Eaters, I believe, operate it. They have access to it. But so what happens is you get all of the official audio-only tracks for their releases. And this is so that if you were to do something that gets copyrighted and they get the claim, the tracks that you're using, these are the ones that are actually monetized. And so these are like iTunes plays basically, but not. It's a little weird. So anyways, you can see that there's a bunch of stuff and you can click the thing and it goes down a bit, but that's as far as it goes. And there's definitely more than that because Atomic Queen is not on here, right? So over the years of knowing about the topic channels of artists and, making playlists or trying to get an album playlist together of like, not the music video, just the songs kind of thing. I want official audio. I don't want low bit rate with a video that was uploaded 20 years ago. A lot of bands are like that. The Refreshments. You cannot find an official audio copy of Down Together. All you can find is the music video with low resolution and low bit rate, which sucks. So anyways, you would think that clicking on this would open up the screen into more, and forever and a day, it has not been the case. You could click on it, nothing would happen. And guess what? It happened. It started working. This has never been a thing before. Holy shit. Do you see how much there is? oh my fucking God, this is all it was going to show me. Not even that much. Until yesterday, I didn't know that 5 Little Pills was a thing, you see. So now every single one of these topic tracks has been added to the playlist. What I did was I just went to the top, which is roughly chronological. And what I did was I added this to the playlist, and I added anything on Year-End Report that wasn't already on the playlist to the playlist, and I went through all of them like this. I have gone through, I have liked every single topic track. There are 180 of these on the playlist, and every single one of them has my like on them. In some of them, tracks that were 10 years old or whatever, I am the first person to click like on them. It's wild. This band is so fucking good, dude. You don't understand. The music is amazing. So anyways, I found self-hatred and it fit like a glove. Now I can hear the voices singing unison. And there's one thing. So the original ones that I put together are the listenable bits. Not that anything else is unlistenable, but I got to a point where it was like there's more tracks on here that I'd like to have on, but I didn't know how to organize it or whatever. So what I did was I went through bit by bit, liked every single one, made sure everything was liked, and anything that wasn't already on the playlist got added to the playlist in whatever order I threw them on. And a lot of these, if there was a couple of them off of an EP, the rest of the EP is clustered together separately from the ones that are up at the very top. Okay. And then some of these are almost, they're not exactly repeats because each one's a slightly different mix or a slightly different intro length from what I can tell. But now, like here, there's one from We Are a Curse, but the whole album's brilliant, but I didn't want to just put the whole album. Well, then eventually I did. So everything has been put on from all of the albums. Anything that wasn't already on the list is now put on in otherwise sequential album order. But now we have all of it, 180 tracks to listen to from this one group. Now, granted, there's like 10 tracks that are on here like 3 times or whatever, but that's still... And of course, some of the other ones are very short. They're... it's really cool because like the I Want Sugar album, or I Want Sugar or Too Much Sugar that it's called. I think it's called Too Much Sugar. The whole thing is brilliant. It's absolutely amazing. And some of these tracks repeat in other places. This isn't even the entire... Maybe it is. But like some of these... So now these are all on the list too. Okay, so the playlist will be in the description. There are now 180 tracks. Some of these are repeated. This outro to this video is really for the purpose of advising the listener that emotional and spiritual maturity and any kind of biblical literacy is helpful to understand some of the more out there material. You're going to have a track come along called Satan is Lord. You're going to have another track called Ave Satanas. Ave Satanas was a joke on one of their semi-weekly or monthly episodes of, I believe it was either, I think that at that point they were still doing the Dream Eating Freak Show. The last update that they made on the Eater's Digest, which is their now what they're calling their semi-weekly or monthly magazine show, has announced that all of the old Dream Eating Freak Show episodes are available on their Patreon. So you can pay for their Patreon, support the group, watch all the old stuff. They took it down off of YouTube. The music videos are still there on their main channel under the playlist that they've always been on. But the other podcast or whatever episodes of the Dream Eating Freak Show going way back are now apparently behind a paywall, which is, of course, their prerogative. That being said, all of the music from all of that is contained within the topic channel for distribution monetization purposes. So that will remain, which is why I'm glad I found it. So basically, the short but sweet version of the previous attempt that I had at explaining this, which got a little bit ranty, is according to Gnosticism, a powerful being that is not the Almighty created the world under the mistaken belief that it was the Almighty. And under the belief system that acknowledges this, you have to understand that there are a lot of people in the world who think that they are worshiping God and are actually just doing their worship, and everything that they put forth, the glory that they put out, and everything else goes to the demiurge. And this is the same system that administers the spiritual governance that administers the prison that we keep ourselves in. Now, if you're not into Gnosticism, if you don't believe that and you prefer to stick to mainstream ecumenical literature and such, the Bible, the canon, right? If you look in the New Testament, everything that is written by John refers to things like principalities and rulers of the spiritual realm, and the fact that, for all intents and purposes, and this is especially highlighted in the book of Revelation, which a lot of people that claim to be Christians are not really well versed on the book of Revelation. They've not got into it, or they've read it and took it 100% literally without understanding what symbolism is present in the language, because everything that the Apostle John, Saint John, not the Baptist, but the Apostle, the Revelator, the one that wrote the letter to the Romans, etc. John writes almost exclusively in Gnostic terminology. The Gospel according to John, all of the epistles that are attributed to John, and the revelation to St. John at Patmos are all Gnostic documents. Under the given understanding of this spiritual system, of the belief system that most people think they believe in but don't actually understand, according to the book of Revelation specifically, outside of the 1,000-year millennium, the 1,000-year reign of Christ that takes place during the end of the world, outside of that 1,000-year time, the governance of the world of men is handled by the devil. Therefore, Satan is the Lord of the earth. And most people that think that they are worshiping God are accidentally worshiping the devil. Meanwhile, a lot of people that are in this position, and some people that understand the true God and understand not to accidentally worship the devil, also mistake things from people who are pagans. For example, this band I'm talking about, pretty clearly pagan. Pagan worship is not necessarily Satan worship. While yes, the Green Man in Wicca is kind of a correlation between Hermes as well as the demiurge, as well as some concepts of Satan, mostly it's animism. It is praying for a good harvest. It is celebrating the solstices. It is things like that. And it is not the worship of a being who outright hates humanity for taking attention away from him via God. That's why Satan hates humans. Satan hates all humans. He especially hates the humans that worship him. He does them the dirtiest because they are, if you think about it, from the mindset of a higher power fallen angel type that hates humanity, tries to do everything he can to screw humanity over. you probably despise the people that you're most easily able to trick into helping you accomplish this goal. People hurting people, thinking they're worshiping Satan, thinking that worshiping Satan is better than worshiping God. It's a whole weird, twisted, nuanced thing, you see. But the point being, the Antichrist will never say, I am the Antichrist. They have a song by this title. The Antichrist will demand to be worshipped as God or claim to be Jesus. But will never say, I am the Antichrist. There's a joke there, you see. It's nuanced. Satan is Lord. Well, I just told you. I'm not saying Satan's a good guy. I'm not saying to worship him. I'm saying that's who the honcho is. You pray to the throne. Guess who's sitting on a fucking throne? So that's what I got. I think I've accomplished everything I needed to state in this video segment. This will all be put together and uploaded whenever it is. Link is in the description for the playlist. Enjoy it. 180 tracks, many of which are repeats with slight variation. But what that means is that if you put it onto a random shuffle of the playlist, you're going to get a lot of weird interstitial small bits in between a lot of really excellent songwriting. And even the interstitial small bits are excellent melody and excellent songwriting. The things you can do with 50 seconds or 30 seconds, pretty insane. So listen to it, enjoy it. There's a lot. That's a lot of music. Who in the fuck has 180 tracks available to listen to? Do the Rolling Stones have that many? Does Michael Jackson have that many? Do the Beatles have that many? Good grief. Good grief. So anyways, listen to the playlist. Enjoy it. I hope you do. It's this fabulous music. Fabulous music. And you might even find yourself tapping your foot along and accidentally going, Satan is Lord, when you don't realize it. You never know. You never know. It's crazy.